This is your Hdsr Sports Report, the Victor Valley's only weekly action highlights sports program, covering our area's schools, teams, athletes, and sporting events. Granite Hills gets 4 Cameron Smith touchdowns the first half, and the Cougars' defense turns turnovers into points on the scoreboard as Coach Alex Gonzalez's troops turn away Arroyo Valley 47-0. The homecoming win, the third straight Cougars victory to open the season. Granite Hills' offensive line totally dominated the visiting Hawks, continually opening gaping holes for Cameron Smith and fellow running back Jeremy Hughes. 71 rushing yards for Jeremy Hughes, who scored the second half touchdown. The Cougars' defense was even more daunting. Jeremy Hughes, with this takeaway, one of 4 forced turnovers in the first half alone. The most damaging, this blocked punt by Adam Espinoza. The 230-pound senior scoops it up after blocking the punt and scores for the second Cougars touchdown of the game. On Arroyo Valley's very next play from scrimmage, Chris Long pounces on the errant pitch. Chris Long, sophomore defensive end. Cameron Smith scores on a run from 22 yards out, and it is 20-0 with 20 seconds to go in the first quarter. On the ensuing kickoff, Braley Rybot recovers, and the Cougars have it in the Hawks' red zone. Cougars' special teams and kick coverage superb all night. Braley Rybot, 175-pound senior defensive back. 2 plays into quarter number 2, Cameron Smith scores from 5 yards out. That is 3 touchdowns in less than 2 minutes of playing time. Arroyo Valley responds by driving to the Cougars' 21. This is where Jeremy Hughes picks up the bobbled snap and refuses to be brought down easily. The senior defensive end brings it out to the 40. We can sit back and watch the Cougars' O-line open up one huge hole after another. Cameron Smith, 15 yards up the middle for a first down into Hawks territory. Cameron Smith slips past one would-be tackler and barrels this way, carrying it to the 35. He will carry 16 times for 154 yards in his debut. Then Cameron Smith the other way, pounding his way down to the 17. The O-line, right tackle 55, Adam Espinosa, right guard 66, Ben Montoya, center Matt El Ali, 73, left guard Carlos Ramirez, 75, left tackle the omnipresent Lance Henderson, 52. Cameron Smith blasts through Arroyo Valley's first line of defense and sprints past the secondary, the 140-pound sophomore speedster scoring his 4th touchdown of the first half. Malachi Harvey drills the point after touchdown. It is 34-0 with 5 minutes remaining before halftime. When your quarterback has thrown 11 touchdown passes in your first 2 victories, you can't expect him to go an entire half here without adding another. With 22 seconds on the second quarter clock and the Cougars taking over at the Hawks' 38, Byron Rivas hits Theodore Wiggins on the middle screen pass, one of Coach Alex Gonzalez's favorite play selections, and Granite Hills goes to the locker room with a 41-0 lead. Offensive stars have gotten the lion's share of first-half highlights, well, Cougars' share in this case, but it was the Granite Hills defense that set the tone of the game very early, very often. This is Arroyo Valley's first play from scrimmage. 52 is Lance Henderson, 6'2", 208-pound senior linebacker. He was Desert Sky League Defensive Player of the Year last season. Hawks' second play of the game. Lance Henderson lowering the proverbial boom on Arroyo Valley's ball carrier. This is what the Hawks ball carriers came to expect all night long. The effect was as contagious as COVID-19. Jeremy Hughes making the play here. Jeremy Hughes, like Lance Henderson, Theodore Wiggins, and Adam Espinosa, Matt El Ali, a two-way player. Speaking of COVID-19, that's what kept Cameron Smith sidelined for the first 2 games. What did he have to say about his offensive line in his first game this season?
Cameron, what's that offensive line doing for you tonight?
The offensive line is doing me very great. They're giving me yards, scoring, making holes for me. Yeah, I thank all the offensive linemen for what they're doing for me, really.
Keep it going. Good job.
It wasn't that the Cougars' passing attack was not there. Byron Rivas to Theodore Wiggins early for 44 yards in Granite Hill's first scoring drive. So why throw the ground game into high gear?
Byron, how did the offensive game plan change tonight?
They set more deep, so we just ran it up their gut, change the game plan. Keep it smart.
Way to go.
The Cougars go for a fourth straight win when they journey to Sultana next. Apple Valley lost to Rancho Cucamonga 27-19 in a scenario similar to the season opening setback at high-ranked Mission Viejo. Jaden Max Denico capped the Sun Devils' first possession, scoring from 4 yards out. Caleb Most scored on an 8-yard run less than a minute later, and the Sun Devils jumped out to a 13-0 lead halfway through the first quarter before giving up 27 unanswered points. Apple Valley defenders came up with outstanding individual efforts time and time again, often throwing the visitors into third and long yardage situations. Telltale breakdowns often followed, the inability to contain the Cougars on long yardage plays. That's the case on Rancho Cucamonga's second possession, an 89-yard scoring play for the visitors' first touchdown. The defense had come through in a big way, setting up the second Sun Devils touchdown. Brandon Armijo wraps up the fumble at the 8. Brandon Armijo is 6'2", 210, a junior middle linebacker. 2 plays later, Raymond Polito helps clear the way, and Caleb Most cuts off Hira Leopepatelli's block for his second touchdown of the season. Caleb Most led Sun Devils ball carriers in the season opener, rushing for 112 yards on 12 carries, including a 74-yard touchdown. Dustin Reynolds literally throws the ball carrier for a loss here. The 6'2", 220-pound junior middle linebacker was Mojave River League Defensive Player of the Year for the spring 2021 season. Dustin Reynolds opened this season with 3 solo tackles and 1 sack against Mission Viejo. The highlights reel of defensive plays repeatedly shows Sun Devils linebackers executing, often with vicious efficiency. Gavin Hambrick with this tackle for a loss of the elusive Cougars quarterback. This is early in the second quarter. Gavin Hambrick, 6'2", 220, the team's defensive captain and signal caller, who has accepted a full scholarship to play next season at Boise State. Next play, Keenan Eck sacks the Cougars quarterback. The 6'3", 198-pound senior Keenan Eck recorded 3 sacks in the season opener. Offensive highlights, watch wide receiver Logan Moon grind for 7 yards after catch for a gain of 9. Logan Moon is 6 foot 175, a senior. 6'7", 340-pound left tackle Raymond Polito, 79, blocks down and obliterates his defender, pulling right guard 52, Hira Leopepatelli, and left guard James Reed, 57, clear the way as Caleb Most picks up 7 tough yards on this first down play. The Sun Devils will not find the going any easier next when they travel to Murrieta Valley, a team ranked in the top 20 in CIF Southern Section. Video Sports presents a history, the Bell Game.
The battle for the bell.
The Bell, the traveling trophy and symbol of rivalry between the Valley's 2 oldest secondary schools. The bell was donated by a local church in 1968. Its ringing no longer draws parishioners to Sunday service, but to serve as a ringing reminder of who wins the annual grudge match between Victor Valley and Apple Valley High Schools. So let's go back and set the stage to 2004. Victor Valley was poised to make history. No Jackrabbit team had lost the bell game in a century. By that meaning, Victor Valley had won 4 consecutive years beginning in 2000. A 2004 win would mark the first time either team won 5 straight. But that was not to be the case. Apple Valley unleashed Mojave River League sprint champion Greg Johnson, who had the best game of his career, 245 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns. The 26-6 win before a Newton T. Bass Stadium crowd of 5,000. The 2005 matchup brought 5,000 fans to Raymore Stadium in Victorville, where the home team Jackrabbits and visiting Sun Devils entered the game with 1-1 records. The first quarter saw Victor Valley move the ball effectively against the Devils, but Apple Valley's defense stiffened in the red zone and the Rabbits were unable to put any points on the scoreboard.
After a scoreless first period, the second quarter began. It was like all helmets broke loose.
The Jackrabbits struck first and quickly in the second stanza. Behind a solid wall of protection, senior quarterback Branimir Courtney slung sidearm to junior Brandon Shanklin in the end zone, and the Rabbits jumped on top 7-0. The scoring play was from 8 yards out. Bell game drama was nothing new to this coach. Leland Udy played in the Bell game in 1970. He had led the Rabbits to their 4 straight wins coming into last season's battle. Apple Valley responded to Victor Valley's TD less than 1 minute later. Wide receiver Corey Johnson broke 2 tackles on the slant pattern and galloped into the end zone from 30 yards out. The extra point tied the game at 7, and the Sun Devils did not trail again. Armando Nunez drills this scoring pass from 5 yards out to Greg Gilmore for the go-ahead touchdown. The unsuccessful conversion left the Sun Devils ahead by 6. Gilmore's 38-yard field goal with 5.5 minutes left proved the game winner. With time running out, Tyrone Rudd took this pass from Branimir Courtney and scored from 8 yards out. 21 seconds remained. For Coach Frank Police and the Sun Devils, the 16-14 victory and back-to-back wins made it 24 Bell game triumphs.
Looking back in High Desert sports history, the Bell game, Victor Valley's last rivalry game win, 2010.
The Sun Devils scored on their first play from scrimmage. Ben Quiros hits Tavion Flournoy on a crossing pattern, and the 6'1 senior takes it 64 yards. The Jackrabbits immediately took the wind from the Sun Devils' sails. Zeke Julian connects with Trevon Bedard for 81 yards. On the next play, Jordan Watson drives in from 2 yards out. The Sun Devils respond with a scoring drive, capped by Jermaine Lowe's 16-yard run. Isaiah Kepley's 40-yard field goal pulls the visiting Rabbits closer. It's Apple Valley 14, Victor Valley 10 to end the first quarter. In the second quarter, Jackrabbits special teams make 2 huge plays. Apple Valley tries a field goal from long distance, but the play backfires. Zeke Julian takes the kick inside the 5 and zigzags his way 98 yards to put the Rabbits on top for the first time in this 42nd battle for the Bell. Quarterback Quiros scrambles in from 6 out, and the Sun Devils are back on top 21-17 with 30 seconds to go before the half. Here's the second of the 2 special teams' special plays that virtually make the difference in the ball game. Apple Valley kicks away from Isaiah Kepley, but that doesn't cut it if kick coverage collapses. Travion Bedard breaks 2 tackles and runs the kickoff back 98 yards for a touchdown. And it was Bedard again, scoring the 4th Victor Valley touchdown, the 21-yard scoring play from Zeke Julian. The Victor Valley lead is 10 in the third quarter. The Jackrabbits hold on. The final 38-30.
Tyler Murphy leads the 2011 Sun Devils in regaining the Bell in the longest-standing rivalry game between Victor Valley schools. Victor Valley could not contain the Sun Devils' junior running back. The 5'8", 155-pound Tyler Murphy rushes for 297 yards. This touchdown, the first of the game, from 23 yards. It was a night of near-perfect execution for Ben Quiros. This is the second Sun Devils touchdown. Roman Novell on the 32-yard scoring play, first of 2 scoring passes to the 5'10 receiver. The second from 14 yards out. Heroes connects with Tyler Basket, who gets behind the Jackrabbits cornerback for this 21-yard scoring play.
Tyler Murphy follows the path plowed by the likes of 59 Anthony Ballinger, 56 Jacob Tizard, 61 Matthew Hdsr, and 68 Troy Bacon. Murphy capped off his incredible performance with a 6-yard touchdown in the third quarter. The final score, 51-6.
In 2011's 43rd Battle for the Bell. The Bell Game 2013, and one of the most exciting, down to the last series, down to the wire, or perhaps up to the belfry, contests in the history of the crosstown rivalry between Victor Valley's Jackrabbits and the Apple Valley Sun Devils. Apple Valley's D'Angelo Guillory scored the winning touchdown with 4.5 minutes remaining in the ball game in the Sun Devils' 13-6 victory. A 13-yard Justin Connors to Mason Kelly connection takes the ball to the 1. D'Angelo Guillory reaches the end zone, or at least reaches out and gets the football across the goal line, and the first points of the game are scored 90 seconds into the third. Victor Valley blocks the extra point attempt, and it's 6-0 Sun Devils. Apple Valley's next possession, a deep drive into the red zone, 4th and 1. Victor Valley's 320-pound Gabriel Razzo nearly bears all in coming up with the huge stop. That sets up a 94-yard scoring drive beginning late in the third. Victor Valley, on the first play of the fourth quarter, Daniel Walker rifles the 8-yard strike to Joseph Badillo, and the Rabbits are in position to take the lead. But their extra point kick is no good, and the score remains tied at 6. Apple Valley's game-deciding 80-yard drive, this third down pass completion, Justin Connors to Dwight Williams, crucial in keeping that drive alive. D'Angelo Guillory gets the call and crosses the goal on the play from a yard out. Sam Wallace's kick follows, and Apple Valley's lead is 7. 4:35 remains in the game. And now we are to the Jackrabbits' final drive. Victor Valley quarterback Daniel Walker to Jamal Tate. Walker to Tate to Donald Mitchell into Sun Devils territory. It took this D'Angelo Guillory pass interception with under a minute remaining to finally put the game away. The final, Apple Valley 13, Victor Valley 6.
Let's go to 2014, another Bell game decided by a touchdown or less.
Senior running back Tristan McNatt powered, plowed, bulled, and barreled his way over Victor Valley defenders in leading the Sun Devils to a 35-28 victory in the Battle for the Bell. The 47th annual Bell Game, featured by the Great American Rivalry series, which shines the spotlight on top high school football rivalries across the nation. Tristan McNatt scored 2 touchdowns and rushed for 109 yards and was named Most Valuable Player by the Great American Rivalry series. The Battle for the Bell was a classic struggle between two long-standing rivals played before a near-capacity crowd of high-energy fans, both sides of Raymore Stadium. This is the 5th Bell game in the last 7 decided by a touchdown or less. Apple Valley's triumph tied the mark for one school recording 5 consecutive Bell game victories. After falling behind 21-7 in the second quarter, Apple Valley came back behind a balanced offensive attack that marked a breakthrough game for junior quarterback Mossy Bell. It was Bell's touchdown pass to Kai Merchant that brought Apple Valley to within 7 at halftime. And another Mossy Bell to Kai Merchant touchdown pass puts the Sun Devils ahead to stay in the third quarter. Mossy Bell's effective passing was opened up by the thunder and lightning ground game of seniors Greg Sprague and Tristan McNatt. Time and time again, the senior running backs displayed second effort in breaking tackles, keeping drives alive, and finally enabling the Sun Devils to run out the clock after Victor Valley had pulled within 7 late in the fourth quarter. Greg Sprague carried for 239 yards and scored the first Sun Devils touchdown, a 9-yard power burst that tied the score at 7 in the first quarter. Apple Valley overcame a tremendous game from Jackrabbit quarterback Justin Ortiz, who completed 15 of 25 passes for 308 yards and 4 touchdowns. Victor Valley scored on their opening possession, Justin Ortiz to Elijah Whitfield on a 9-yard play. A pair of Justin Ortiz to Cameron Pyant touchdown passes gave Victor Valley a 21-7 lead in the second quarter. With 4.5 minutes on the clock, first down at the 13, Justin Ortiz lofts the pass to Andy Garcia, who reaches high ahead of Devils free safety Seth Baker coming over the top. Garcia backs into the end zone. The Jackrabbits are back within a touchdown. Apple Valley runs out the clock. The final score, Apple Valley 35, Victor Valley 28. The dazzling pass reception by T.J. Lewis gives Apple Valley the winning touchdown in the 48th. Battle for the Bell. The scoring pass from Mossy Bell with 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Sun Devils defense then denies the Jackrabbits a 4th and goal at the 2 to hold on for the 29-22 Bell game victory. The Jackrabbits had taken the lead on Justin Ortiz's 15-yard touchdown pass to Desmond Kepley at the 3-minute mark in the third quarter. The Sun Devils' successful conversion following the T.J. Lewis TD reception, Seth Baker diving into the end zone gives Apple Valley their final 2 points, and the Sun Devils become the first team to win 6 consecutive Battle for the Bell games in the Great American Rivalry Series.
It's really a feeling you can't explain, like all these people here. Bell game, adrenaline's pumping,
This 2016 Bell game marked the first time in the 48-year series that the Sun Devils and Jackrabbits both enter the Cross Valley rivalry undefeated. The Sun Devils take the field before a standing-room-only crowd upward of 5,000 in attendance. The Sun Devils began flying around and making big plays from the start. Charles Logan takes the opening kickoff at the 14, bobbles it momentarily, retrieves the ball, and races 86 yards past the Jackrabbit sidelines. Apple Valley takes the lead on the first play of the game. 13 seconds in, unlucky for Victor Valley, 7-0 Apple Valley. Ethan Smith's kick from 29 yards out gives the Sun Devils a 10-0 lead with 41 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The Jackrabbits begin the long march back. Justin Ortiz to Gabriel Trujillo all the way down inside the red zone to the 15. Next play, Justin Ortiz to Gabriel Trujillo, and the Jackrabbits are on the board. An Ortiz to Andy Garcia 2-point conversion pulls Victor Valley within 10. 18-8. The Rabbits insert massive lineman Hinzel Fotofili, 10, 280 pounds, reference the refrigerator of Da Bears fame. Hinzel Fotofili plows over from 2 yards out, and it's a 3-point game. Sun Devils 18, Jackrabbits 15. Apple Valley adds a 37-yard field goal with time running out in the second quarter to make it 21-15. With 3:22 to play in the third. 3rd and 10 from the 15. Justin Ortiz beats the pass rush and lofts it to 6'2" senior Damian Kepley, who's glided behind a pair of defenders and pulls down the scoring pass. The extra point gives Victor Valley the lead, 22-21. Mossy Bell rolls to his right. Devin Fisher, 57, picks off stunting linebacker Jaime Campos. T.J. Lewis turns on the stop-and-go route, grabs the ball, loses the handle, regains control, and turns the play into Bell game history. The final, Apple Valley 29, Victor Valley 22.
It goes down as one of the most exciting games in Battle for the Bell history. In addition to 6 straight, it is 11 wins in the last 13 Bell games for the Sun Devils.
The Apple Valley Sun Devils scored twice in 16 seconds in the third quarter en route to a 57-12 Bell game victory over Victor Valley. Keshawn Griffin's kickoff return for a touchdown, followed by Seth Baker's interception and 75-yard return, putting the game well out of reach in the 49th edition of the Battle for the Bell. The Sun Devils score the first 3 times they get their hands on the ball to open the contest. Donovan Ferguson breaks the ice on a 10-yard run. Jeff Widener's 6-yard touchdown pass to tight end Kai Merchant, the Sun Devils' second possession. Donovan Williams' 65-yard run makes it a 3-touchdown lead, 21-0 early in the second quarter. 14 seconds to go before halftime. Jeff Widener lofts the touchdown pass to Keshawn Griffin on the 28-yard scoring play that makes it 28-0 at the intermission. Jeff Widener also has a 17-yard scoring pass to Xander Witt. The final touchdown of the game comes on the 3rd touchdown of the night by Keshawn Griffin. Late game razzle-dazzle on the wide receiver reverse. In the early going, Victor Valley held down the high-scoring Sun Devils by holding onto the ball, consuming huge chunks of first and second quarter time of possession. But the Sun Devils' Jake Anderson makes this major impact play, blocking the Jackrabbits' punt, picking it up, and running it down to the 6 to set up Apple Valley's second touchdown. The eventual 57-12 win is Apple Valley's 7th consecutive Bell game victory. This is the app for which they play, the Bell. And for Sun Devil senior quarterback Jeff Widener, number 9, the number 8 figures heavily into tonight's grand scheme of things. The 76-21 victory, the 8th consecutive Bell game win for Apple Valley. For Jeff Widener, 8 scoring passes on the night. The first Jeff Widener TD pass is caught by Chad Smith, a 51-yard scoring play. The first of 2 touchdown receptions for super sophomore wide receiver Tyron Smith caps the Sun Devils' first quarter explosion of 5 touchdowns in 4 minutes. 2.9 seconds before halftime from their own 46, Jeff Widener lifts a perfectly thrown pass and Xander Witt cradles it at the 15 and sprints into the end zone. 54 yards for the touchdown. Jeff Widener pitches quick to Donovan Ferguson, who makes an acrobatic reaction to the ball and without breaking stride, races into the end zone for point number 62. Jeff Widener concludes his historic night's work with this 12-yard scoring pass to Xander Witt. The final in Bell Game 50, 76-21, Sun Devils. J. Max Denegal throws 4 scoring passes as Apple Valley runs its Bell game win streak to 9. J. Max Denegal to Tyron Smith, and it is 7-0. Sun Devils just under 7 minutes in. From the 6, Great American Rivalry Series MVP, Apple Valley scores again. J. Max Denegal to Jeremy Justice II, the play covering 41 yards. Kenyard Edwards Jr. scoring his second touchdown of the night. J. Max Denegal rolls out. Jacob Soria with the catch in the end zone. The Sun Devils win a 9th consecutive Bell game and now leads in Bell game victories 36-15. Your High Desert Sports Report is brought to you by Down Home Grill in Victorville on the corner of Bear Valley Road and Ridgecrest Road. Bid fast and last, sold on supporting High Desert Sports. Howard's, recognizing and supporting the teams, athletes, schools, and sports programs throughout the Victor Valley. The Bradco Companies, supporting all of the teams and sports programs throughout the Mojave River Valley. Iwanzak Law Firm, trial lawyers for serious problems. Valu Quality Truck Body. Valu manufactures state-of-the-art truck bodies for the construction industry nationwide. And by the Community Table Restaurant in the Holiday Inn in Victorville, supporting high desert teams, athletes, and sports programs. This is your High Desert Sports Report, the Victor Valley's only weekly action highlights sports program, covering our area's schools, teams, athletes, and sporting events.